Hello children, how are you all? Hope you have gone through your chemistry chapter number 1, few topics which we have discussed on Tuesday. These were the few topics, that was introduction, definition of the particles of matter, physical nature of matter, characteristics of the particles of matter. These topics we have completed in our previous class session. Today we'll focus on states of matter. Now we all know that there are 3 states of matter, but we'll be studying them in a deep on the basis of their physical properties. Now before we proceed with this chapter with remaining topics, I would ask you all to go through the chapter again and again through your NCERT book, which I have sent you on the PDF pattern. Now coming to states of matter. We all know that particles have force of attraction between them. So, on the basis of that force of attraction, states of matter are divided as solid, liquid and gaseous one. Now, these are totally depending upon how the molecules are attracted to each other, how kinetic energy is working and how the rate of diffusion is taking place. Coming to the very first state, that is the solid state. Here you can see I have taken the example of a rectangular box from which a small portion is being taken and observed in the high magnification power microscope. You can see all those orange circles are molecules or particles of matter which are arranged in a compact pattern and in a definite shape. So after looking at this diagram, we can conclude little bit things in our mind. To understand more deeply the solid state of matter, we can take the example of an activity, that is activity 1.9 from our NCERT book. Here we have taken a pen, a notebook, a needle and a piece of thread. All these 4 things we have taken. Now what we have to do? We have to sketch the above articles in our copy with the help of a pencil moving around them. And then we have to observe it, like what type of shape they are having, what type of distinct boundaries or borders they are they having fixed volume, are they able to be compressed, whether they are rigid, or when we are hammering them or pulling them, does they drop. All these things we have to observe. When we'll observe these things, we'll come to know that they have a definite shape, they have distinct boundaries, and even they have a fixed volume. Here, their compressibility is also negligible. So after this, we can say that solids may break under force, but it is difficult to change their shape, and that is why they are known as rigid in nature. There are 6 properties of solid which are one of the most important properties from the point of view of chemistry. The very first property says that solids have definite and a fixed volume. Solids have a definite shape and a fixed volume. Second, the space between the particles of matter is minimum. Third, the force of attraction between the particles is maximum. That is why they are solid. The movement of particles is very minimum. That is why they are rigid. They are least compressible. That means we cannot compress them. इनको हम ठीक से दबा नहीं सकते हैं, ज़्यादा दबाने की कोशिश करो तो वो दबते नहीं हैं. Then the rate of diffusion is very less. That means movement of particles from lower concentration to higher concentration is very less. Now coming to liquid state, we can take the example of a bottle containing liquid. We can see the molecules, how they are arranged. Just have a look at the diagram. This will help you to figure out few of the things easily. Now coming to the activity, what we have to do, we have to collect certain things like water, cooking oil, glass of milk, juice and a cold drink. And then we have to collect different shapes container. We have to collect these containers in such a way that they should have 50 ml, that they should contain 50 ml of liquid in them. Then what we have to do? We have to take a measuring cylinder from a laboratory. Measuring cylinder means एक measure करने का ग्लास जैसा डिवाइस जिसके अंदर we have to measure 50 ml, and then we have to mark all these beakers with 50 ml sign, and we have to pour the content. After pouring these contents in different beakers like water and or maybe water in all the containers, we'll observe that they do not have any fixed shape, but liquid do have a fixed volume. Like we already marked 50 ml. So when we took suppose a oval uh, container with 50 ml, we took a rectangular container with 50 ml. So the volume was same but the shape was different. So we can say that liquid take the shape of the container in whichever it is kept. Also, liquid flows and change its shape. So they are not rigid but they show fluidity. Then coming to the properties of liquid. Liquid do not have definite shape but it has a fixed volume and it takes the shape of the container. Second, they have low density than solids. Third, the force of attraction between the particles is weaker than comparing to solid. Next property, they can easily flow and can change their shape in response to outer force. Like whatever outer force we are applying, according to that, they can easily flow. Suppose if we put a blower or a hair dryer with a high speed, so they will easily flow and they will change the shape of whatever thing it is kept. Fifth property says that they are less compressible. That means solid were not at all compressible, but liquid were little bit compressible. Last property says that their rate of diffusion is more than solid. Little bit more diffusible they are. Next, coming to the gaseous state. Now gaseous state. To understand gaseous state, we can take the best example of the balloons. We have observed that a balloon sailor has the large number of balloons and he blow them from a single cylinder of gas. Now the question arises that how many balloons he is able to fill from that one single cylinder. Have you ever noticed that thing, or have you ever asked that which type of gas is filled in the cylinder? Well, for your knowledge, I would like to say that he is able to fill hundreds of balloons at a time. And the gas mostly filled is either nitrogen gas or sometimes oxygen gas, depending upon the type of cylinder that particular person is using. Now here we have taken the example of balloon and particles. You can see how they are arranged. They are very far from each other, loosely packed. That means they are having more interparticle space. Force of attraction is very less. Looking at this particular diagram, we can conclude that they are having different properties comparatively to liquid and solid. Now coming to an activity, that is activity 1.11, we have to take 300 ml syringe and we have to close their nostril with the help of rubber cork. Now you can have a look at this syringe. This is a syringe which is used in medical purpose. We are covering its nostril, that is the opening part, with the help of rubber cork, and we have a piston and a cylinder part in which normally gas is filled. Now what you have to do, you have to take three this type of syringe. In the first syringe you have to open the piston and you have to keep it untouched. In second piston you have to fill water, and in third piston you have to fill a piece of chalk. Now what you have to do, you have to apply little Vaseline or some amount of oil on the particular piston, and then you have to put back all the three pistons respectively. After putting them, you try to compress the content by pushing the piston in each syringe. In the first syringe, you will observe that you have not put anything, only simple gas is there. Then the particular piston will get compressed completely. In the second, we have added water and little amount of gas was there. So Piston will push down little bit, but comparatively to first one, very less. In the third, we have chalk, which is solid. Now, when solid, we are trying to push whichever amount of gas was there, it is moved. Now, we are not able to compress chalk powder or piece of chalk. These three things help us to observe that gas are highly compressible in nature comparatively to solid and liquid. That is why the best example we can take of is liquefied petroleum gas, which is filled in the cylinders by compressing pattern, and this gas is then we use for cooking purpose. Even oxygen is compressed and filled in the cylinders, which is used in hospitals for treating the patient. The LPG gas and CNG natural gases are one of the best examples to show that gas can be compressed. The use of LPG gases in home for cooking purpose, the use of compressed natural gas, that is CNG, is as a fuel in vehicles. Now, due to the high compressibility and large volume of gas, we can say that gas can be compressed and can be filled in these small cylinders, and they can be transported easily. Next, coming to the properties of the gaseous scale. As we all know that the particles in the gaseous state are moving randomly at the high speed. Due to this random motion, they strike to the wall of the container, and when they strike to the wall of the container, they create a certain type of pressure, and this pressure is exerted due to the force which is exerted as per the unit area on the wall of the container. This is known as atmospheric pressure. Next, coming to properties of gases. Now, gases do not have definite shape, neither they have a fixed volume. They can even occupy the space of the container. We have seen in the activity of the syringe. The space between the particles is very maximum, very much. Then the force of attraction between the particles is minimum. This also we have seen. The movement of particles is maximum. Next, they are most compressible comparatively to solid and liquid. And last, their rate of diffusion is more than solids and liquids. Now, this was the explanation about the solid, liquid and gases on the basis of their properties with the help of activity. Here is a tabular form given of those properties to make your study more easier. I would suggest you all to learn this tabular form by heart, because this is one of the most important topic from the exam point of view of class 9th. Now, the properties include shape, volume, density, kinetic energy of particles, compressibility, fluidity, diffusion. Compressibility sometimes counted as rigidity. Sorry, compressibility and rigidity. Next, coming to the properties. Now, shape. If we talk about the shape of solid, liquid and gas, so solids have definite shape, liquids do not have definite shape, neither gases have a definite shape. Solids do have a definite volume, liquids also have a fixed or a definite volume, but gases does not have a fixed or a definite volume. Solids have high density, liquids have less density comparatively to solids, and gases have the least density comparatively to solids and liquids. The kinetic energy of the particles is least in solid, more than solid in liquid, then maximum in the gases. Comparing to the compressibility. Now, compressibility in solid is negligible, compressibility in liquid is little low, and it is highest, very high in particularly gaseous state. Then coming to fluidity. Now, solids do not flow, we all know. It need a base of mostly liquid to flow. Liquids can flow easily, and gases can also flow easily. Coming to diffusion, solids do not diffuse, liquids can diffuse little more comparatively to solids. Gases have the high tendency to show diffusion. Now, these were the properties which we have dealt. I would again request you all to please learn these properties by heart. Now this was the topic. Our next topic will be changes of states of matter, which we'll study in our next class. Till then, stay at home and stay safe. Thank you.